Welcome back, and the opening ceremony of the 25th Winter Olympic Games starts tonight at 8 p.m, culminating in the lighting of the Olympic cauldron. The doors open 3 hours in advance, not at a winter sports venue, but here at the San Siro football stadium, the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza, the home of both Inter and Milan. And not without controversy, as Sergio Giuntini, the president of the Italian Society for the History of Sport, told me.
Il Milan ha deciso su pressione della Lega Calcio.
Milan decided, under pressure from the Italian League, to play the match planned for the day of the opening ceremony in San Siro in Perth, Australia, against Como, a provincial team with a very wealthy owner who wants to launch it into the big international football market.
Mercato del calcio internazionale.
That was the plan, made public in July 2025. UEFA and Serie A were both happy with it, although in the event the trip was cancelled. Not because it was ridiculous to make two teams based 45 kilometres apart fly 14,000 kilometres for one game in the middle of a climate emissions crisis, but because too many football interests wanted a share of the action.
È una cosa che...
The supporters, the true lovers of the sport, took it all with deep bitterness as yet another sign of how football is losing its soul and its respect for the fans who go to the stadium. It has turned into a market, a spectacle, with almost no one having any objections to moving part of the Italian Serie A to Australia.
Fino all'Australia.
Still, cancelling a scheduled match and sending the team mid-season to Australia is trivial in sporting and environmental terms by comparison with the other plans for this cherished stadium.
È esploso un altro caso.
In another symbolic case which has divided the city, the two big football clubs, Milan and Inter, decided that the city-owned San Siro Stadium, one of the world's iconic football venues, once known as football's La Scala, could no longer meet the needs of the new football as spectacle, football as business. So these big clubs have decided that they need their own new stadium. The paradox is the Milan Cortina Olympics get underway on the 6th of February in a stadium slated for demolition in a few years to make way for the new private facility owned by Milan and Inter. So the San Siro has become a kind of metaphor for a city which, despite its dazzling, glittering facade, is full of contradictions.
Presenta molte contraddizioni.
Tearing down one stadium to build another with more profit-making areas makes a kind of blinkered, short-term, purely financial sense, but it ignores the emissions embodied in this massive concrete structure. The architect and environmentalist Dr. Barnabas Calder takes issue with the broader mindset behind it. I haven't cut this because every word needs to be said.
Competitive sport, which is economically enhanced by stadium regeneration, is a microcosm of a worldwide problem that we are perpetrating these harms not because we don't have something that works okay at the moment, but because someone else has something better, and better in big sarcastic quotation marks, something newer, bigger, more energy hungry, and therefore there's a kind of competitive basis to so much in our world economy that pushes us to keep up and to see that as a necessity because someone else has got it, and that's what makes it into a necessity for us to have it. And in competitive sport you see it at its absolutely clearest because they bring in more money, they can afford more expensive players and so on, and more fans and more corporate activity, and the cycle continues. But that same locally defined sense of necessity is driving huge amounts of destruction. A vast proportion, enough of the destruction of our atmosphere and our ecosystems is related to competitive unnecessary excess, to mean that if we just stopped that, we could save the situation and allow those who genuinely don't have enough to have enough. And the structures of debt and competition are trapping us into this situation where we know we're doing the wrong thing. It's deeply clear to everyone who isn't in full-on Alice in Wonderland denial that we are doing the wrong thing, and everything is an exception. You know, you look at any one thing and it's less than 1% of the problem. But it's an awful lot of tiny problems mounting together into one unbelievably enormous problem. And that fundamental attitude that we've got to have the best, can we make it a bit less harmful, needs to change to one of what can we have and what should we have to live a really good life sustainably, and not in the sense of greenwashed sustainably, but in a way that really does allow everyone else to live a good life too. And happiness and health are not aligned to the wild excess of consumption that we're trapped in.